I used to think birthdays were supposed to bring people closer. A chance to pause life for a moment, celebrate the good, and maybe remember why you chose each other in the first place. But on my wife's 32nd birthday, I learned that some celebrations only exist to reveal the truth you've been avoiding for far too long. Her name is Lauren. Not the most common name, but soft and bright, just like the girl I married 9 years ago. I'm Connor, and if you'd asked me a year earlier what our marriage looked like, I would have said stable, comfortable, predictable in a good way. We had routines, inside jokes, movie nights, and all the little anchors of partnership. Or at least I believed we did. I spent weeks planning her birthday. Nothing extravagant, just thoughtful. Dinner at her favorite Italian restaurant, a handwritten letter, and a necklace I'd been saving for quietly. I wanted her to feel seen again because over the last 6 months something in her had dimmed. She spoke less, smiled less, listened even less. I chalked it up to stress, maybe burnout. I didn't want to assume the worst. The evening began normally. She got ready in silence while I straightened the dining room table and added the candles she loved. When she finally came down the stairs, she looked stunning. But her expression held something unreadable, like she was bracing for impact. At the restaurant, she barely touched her food. Instead, she pushed broccoli around her plate, her eyes drifting everywhere but to me. I kept trying to pull her into conversation with gentle questions, but her answers were short, polite, distant. I felt like a stranger sitting across from the woman who once wrote her name intertwined with mine on every notebook corner. Still, I kept searching for small openings. I told her a stupid joke I'd saved for days, a joke she would have laughed at before. She didn't even smirk. The server brought out a tiny chocolate cake with a candle. She closed her eyes to make a wish, and for a moment her face softened, like she was relieved, almost peaceful. But when she opened her eyes again, that peace vanished. She looked at me the way someone looks at a decision they've already made. When we got home, I gave her the letter first. She unfolded it slowly, reading every word. I watched her eyes move across the page where I had poured my heart out. How proud I was of her, how much I still loved her, how I missed the version of us who used to hold hands just because. When she finished, she didn't hug me. She didn't say thank you. She didn't even smile. Instead, she sighed. A deep, heavy sigh that didn't belong on a birthday evening. Then she said it. Connor, the best gift you could give me is you leaving. I genuinely thought I'd misheard. My mind scrambled, tripping over explanations that didn't exist. I asked her what she meant, and she looked at me with a calmness that made everything worse. I don't want this anymore, she said. I don't want us. I don't want this life. I need space. Real space. The kind you can't fix with dinners or letters. Her voice wasn't angry. It wasn't even emotional. It was resolved. I asked if there was someone else. She shook her head too quickly, too forcefully, the kind of denial that feels rehearsed, not real. But I didn't push. I've never been the man to push. I told her I didn't understand. She said she didn't expect me to. She said she hadn't felt like herself in years and that being with me made her feel guilty, trapped, and misunderstood. She felt like she was suffocating under expectations she'd never voiced. Each sentence was a needle dragging across the surface of a balloon. Slow, agonizing, knowing exactly how it would end. I sat there quietly, fingers interlocked, fighting the urge to collapse. I wanted to ask how long she'd felt this way. I wanted to know why she never told me. I wanted to remind her of the years we'd built together. But when someone has already left emotionally, your questions become background noise. We slept in separate rooms that night. Or rather, she slept. I stared at the ceiling until dawn, replaying every moment that might have led us here, searching for signs I'd missed. And the longer I lay there, the clearer it became. By morning I was gone. I didn't slam doors. I didn't leave a note. I didn't take anything unnecessary. Just a suitcase, my passport, my laptop, and the quiet acceptance that sometimes the most painful dignity is the kind that doesn't announce itself. The house felt different in the early morning light, hollow, unclaimed, like it was relieved to see me go. I stood in the living room for a moment, listening to the silence I used to call home. The couch where she once fell asleep on my shoulder. The dining table where we scribbled future plans. The hallway she used to dance down in socks on Sunday mornings. It was all still there, but none of it belonged to us anymore. It belonged to the memory of two people who no longer existed. I left the key on the counter and walked out before the sun had fully risen. The air was cold, the kind that bites a little, reminding you you're alive whether you want to be or not. I didn't have a plan. I just started driving. Not toward anyone or anything, just away. By noon, I checked into a small motel just outside Richmond, Virginia. The kind of place no one would look for you because there's no reason anyone would. I sat on the edge of the bed, staring at my hands, wondering how something so quiet could hurt this much. I kept replaying her birthday sentence word for word. The best gift is you leaving. She didn't say it out of anger. She didn't say it to shock me. She said it because she meant it. That was the part that cut the deepest, the sincerity. Around late afternoon my phone buzzed. It was a message from her. Did you really leave? Not why did you leave? Not come back so we can talk. Just the confirmation. I stared at the screen for a long time before typing a simple reply. Yes. She didn't respond after that. Not for hours. I spent the rest of the evening walking around the small town near the motel. I watched people laugh outside cafes, families gather for dinner, children run with messy energy. It amazed me how ordinary life looked when mine had just cracked open. I felt like I was moving underwater, slow and detached, watching a world that wasn't mine anymore. When I returned to the motel around 9 p.m., she had finally texted again. I didn't think you'd actually go. That one stung more than the first message, not because of the words but because of what they revealed. She wanted the option of pushing me away without the reality of losing me. She wanted distance without consequences, freedom without responsibility. I had been her emotional safety net even when she didn't want to be with me. I typed back, "You asked me to leave. I respected it." She replied almost instantly, "I just needed time. I didn't mean forever." The temptation to go back was there, faint, desperate, familiar. But the version of me that existed 12 hours earlier wasn't coming back. Something inside me had shifted. Maybe it was the silence during dinner, or the distant look in her eyes, or the way she delivered her request like it was long overdue. Or maybe it was the realization that staying would only delay the inevitable. I wrote, "I gave you 9 years of time. You gave me an answer last night." She didn't text after that. The next morning I called my friend Ryan, one of the few people I trusted enough to tell the truth. He didn't say much, didn't judge, didn't give empty advice. He simply said, "If you left, it's because you knew there was nothing left to save." And for the first time in 2 days, I exhaled without feeling like my chest might collapse. Over the next week, I moved into a small rented studio near Virginia Beach. I bought a second-hand couch, a cheap coffee machine, and a new set of sheets. Nothing fancy but mine. The simplicity felt clean, unburdened, honest. Lauren texted a few more times during that first week. Small messages, questions, half apologies, half accusations. At one point she wrote, "You gave up too quickly." I never responded to that one. Some statements don't deserve answers. What surprised me most wasn't that she let me go so easily. It was how quickly the fog inside me cleared once I stepped out. For the first time in years, I woke up without feeling like I was tiptoeing around someone's unspoken discontent. I ate when I was hungry, slept when I was tired, worked without feeling guilty for not being whatever she silently needed. And eventually I realized something I hadn't expected. Her wish had come true, but so had mine. Just in a way neither of us intended. She wanted me gone and I wanted peace. We both got what we asked for.